So today, for recording purposes, we're doing bearings, and let's just start with the story, and hopefully everyone will reach by then. Right? So the story is gonna, well, let's jump straight into it. All right, so we have a couple revision questions here. Here we have a non-right angle triangle. Now, here's what I want you all to do. I don't care about the three significant figures. I just want the answer to two decimal places. This is, like I said, to do bearings, you need to remember everything we did in trigonometry, including the sine rule and cosine rule. I want everyone to find the length of BC for me. Of course, send the answer on the chat. You will need to figure out which rule to use and whatnot from the information. Good luck, and I await your answers. So in case, well, I see some of you are saying the middle rule, but let's just say, right? You gotta be a little bit more specific than that. Now, it seems that we're given the length of two sides and the angle in between those two sides. So fine, it's the cosine rule that we're supposed to use, right? And we have it here, but I want it specifically. You could have, like, if you say the middle one, you could have said the top version or the underneath version, right? Now, when we're given two sides and the angle in between, it's the cosine rule. And of course, we're trying to find a missing side, okay? So let me just circle which rule we plan to use. So remember, in these rules, common letters represent sides and capital letters represent angles. So if here's capital A, over here's common A. If here's capital B, over here's common B. If here's capital C, over here's common C. So it seems that it just so happens BC is common A. So we're looking for common A, right? So well, it just so happens that the formula lines up with the exact letters here, and the formula is also, we're trying to find A. So lucky for us, we don't have much work to do, right? Use minus open brackets 2 by B by common C. Remember, if you have common A here, the last letter is the capital version of it. So let's substitute in the values, right? We have A squared is equal common B squared is 8 squared, C squared is 11 squared minus open brackets 2 by 8 by 11 by cosine capital A. Remember, capital A is 52 degrees. So I remember telling you all that, hey, you could type in this straight on your calculator without any problems. 8 squared plus 11 squared minus open brackets 2 by 8 by 11 by cosine 52. When we work out this, anybody saw this on your calculator? 76.64. But we're not finished, right? Remember, we're trying to find A, not A squared. So when you throw across squared, you're going to get square root. So let's square root that, right? And we're going to get 8.75 to two decimal places. And then I have to put centimeters, obviously, right? Right. Keep in mind, this is a Form 4, Form 5, an adults class, right? This is not Form 2 and Form 3. So if there's anybody who's in Form 2 and Form 3, I think you got your days mixed up, right? Right. Look for your mistakes. Look for your mistakes. Do. Try this one here. What's the aim of the question? Your job is to find angle A. Let's see. I have a couple different answers. Some people are saying the answer is 80 something, and some people are saying the answer is 60 something. So let's put the formula here. This one, you cannot work it out straight on your calculator. Now, since it's the same exact formula here, we have the B, common C, common A, and B and C. All right, so let's substitute in the values here one time. If here's capital A, over here's common A. If here's capital B, over here's common B. If here's capital C, over here's common C. So B is how much? 10. So we say 10 squared plus C is how much? 12. 12 squared minus A squared, which is 15 squared. Underneath is 2 multiplied by common B and common C. Common B and C are 10 and 12. Now, I'm going to assume that everyone has up to there, but I realize some people are trying to type in this straight on your calculator. You can't do that. Yeah, it takes a lot of skill to type in something this complex on the calculator. So what you want to do is work out the top separately, write down the answer, then work out the underneath separately and write down the answer, and then divide. Okay? So 10 squared plus 12 squared minus 15 squared. On top, I'm getting 19. Anybody can agree with that? I'm surprised I get such a nice value. I get 19 on top. Underneath is 2 by 10 by 12. I'm getting 240. So let's divide 19 by 240. Round it off the, well, I think in this one, I told you that when you're doing the calculations, we should go to 3 decimal places, and then our final answer, we will go to 2. I think I remember that saying a couple of weeks ago. 19 divided by 240, I'm seeing this. 0.0791 or so. I'm not going to judge you too hard on this, right? But when you divide it, you're going to see something close to this, right? I'm the one who said go to 3 decimal places, so I'm sticking with that. And then cos inverse that. Second function cosine 0.079, and we get roughly 85.47. 85 point anything, I will take it as correct today, right? Right? Check it back, it's cos inverse. You have to press second function cosine or shift cosine, right? Make sure you see it. Make sure your calculator is also on degrees, right? I don't think the answer is 46, right?
Your story begins in the year 1920 in a remote village in Las Cuevas. You are awakened around midnight by a noise in your brother's room. As you rush into his room, you see a shadowy figure burst into flames as it takes your brother into the sky. Your mother drops to her knees and cries when she learns her youngest son is missing. The village elder does not believe your story and accuses your mother of being a supuyant. A superstitious, frightened and angry mob drags your mother to the gallows. She will be executed at dawn.
You reek of evil. You shall be hanged.
All right, so that's the start of the story there. All right, so officially we are going to start bearings now. Now, what is bearings? Bearings is how you tell direction. Now, most people know how to tell direction here, right? North, east, west, or south. But that's not really too accurate. To be super, super accurate, specifying directions, you actually use degrees. Like if you want to tell somebody turn to a certain direction, you could tell the person, hey, turn 60 degrees or turn 32 degrees. Now there's a little problem. If I tell you turn 30 degrees, and it have 2 ways you could turn 30 degrees. You could turn to the left or you could turn 30 degrees to the right, right? That's a very, very, very confusing piece of instructions, right? So they came up with bearings. With bearings that have a certain set of rules. And once you understand the set of rules, no matter what angle I tell you to turn, you will know exactly which direction and how to turn. So let's start off with the compass points, right? We all know about north, east, west, and south. Everyone should at least have that. Now, in bearings, whenever I give you an instruction, you always assume you are facing north. So I don't care if you're facing east. I don't care if you're facing south. When I tell you to turn on a bearing, you have to turn north first. Align yourself with north. Because north is always considered 0 degrees. And in bearings, you are only allowed to turn clockwise. Now we have a set of rules that everyone can follow, right? That way, when I tell you to turn, you can never turn anti-clockwise because in bearings land, we always turn clockwise and we always assume that we're facing north, always. So north is considered 0 degrees. So that means if we turn to east, east will be how much degrees? 90 degrees, because this is 90 degrees, right? If I tell you to turn to south, everyone agrees that would be 180 degrees. And if I tell you to turn to west, that will be how much degrees? 270 degrees. And if I tell you to turn north and go all the way back to north, if you make it all the way back to north, you would have made a full circle, right? That would be 360 degrees. So that means north could be 0 or 360. That's the only little confusing thing about it, right? I want everyone to draw this diagram, the one that I just drew. Now, I know someone is going to ask, do we really need a protractor to draw the angles today? No. Today, we're just going to be approximating the angle. And in the exam, well, once they give you a bearings question to do, well, if they say just calculate, you don't need to draw an exact drawing. You don't need a protractor. You just need to draw an approximation of what is going on. Right? So anyway, everyone take down the first diagram. It will become clearer in a little while. So the thing about bearings, right? Whenever somebody tells you to turn on a bearing, it is always be 3 digits. Always. So if I ask you to turn 36 degrees on a bearing of 36 degrees, the examiner won't say turn 36 degrees. It always has to be 3 digits. So he'll put a 0 in front to make up the 3 digits, right? Now, where would 36 degrees be? Remember, north is 0 and east is 90. And remember, we always supposed to turn clockwise. So N36 will kind of be in between here, somewhere in between. I mean, exactly in between would be 45 degrees, right? Because half of 90 is 45. So 36 will be a little less. So that means it's just an approximation you have to do for the examiner. So that means this is the direction you will walk. And this angle here is 36 degrees. Everyone okay with that? Because because the bearing is being measured from north. Exactly in the center would be 45. So 36 will be just a little bit before 45. Even if you put it exactly in the middle, it really won't affect your calculations too much. You're just basically trying to get what? An approximation of what's going on. Also, you have to be able to reason out other angles. If you know this pink angle is 36, how much would be this blue angle? I'm just asking. Use a little bit of common sense here. The pink angle is 36. So how much would be the blue angle? The blue angle will not be 36. Think about it, right? Think about it. It would, remember, from north to east would be 90 degrees, right? We now have it there, right? So if this is 36, how much again you need to make this? Won't it be 90 minus 36, which I believe is 54 degrees, right? You have to be able to reason out, using a little bit of common sense. Quick question. How much would this green angle be from here to here? How much would that green angle be? Only the green angle. The pink portion is 36. The blue portion is 54. Right. A lot of people are getting it correct. Remember, if the blue portion is 54, and from north to south is another 90 degrees from north to south, so this green portion would be 90. This portion here, plus the blue portion, 54, which would be 144 degrees. All right, so you just had to be able to reason it out. I want everyone to draw the second diagram for me, right? Because a big part of the question is you'll be given one angle, you go draw the one angle, like the pink angle, the 36, and then the question will start to ask you to reason out other angles. Right? We'll do a couple more examples, don't worry. Let's say somebody comes and says now, hey, move in a direction 100, sorry, 225 degrees. But this already has 3 values, right? So that's the bearing they want you to move. So here's north, here's east, here's south, and here's west, right? Now, won't 225 be kind of in between 180 and 270 because you're starting from north and you're spinning clockwise, okay? So remember, it's just an approximation, right? So 225, I think, will be somewhere around here. This whole pink angle here, from north all the way to south, would be how much? 225 degrees. My question to you is, how much would be the blue portion alone? The whole thing is 225, and we end up moving kind of in between west and south. But if we need the blue portion alone for a particular calculation, how much would it be? And that's more than one way to get it out, right? But I'm just going to choose one of them. Remember, all the way from north to south is 180, right? Remember, from north to south is 180. So the blue portion should be, I'm going to keep it blue, should be 225 minus 180, which I think is 45 degrees. Because from north to south is 180. How much again do we need to make the 225? That would be 45. All right. So a lot more people answered this wrong and got it correct. All right, so I think you all got the gist of it here, right? And obviously, we're going to have tons of it while we are doing the question. Just take down this last diagram and let's try an official bearings question together. Right, so let's have a look at an official question. I'm not going to ask you to draw it, right? Because to take down that and draw that is going to be real headache. I just, if you all could just, actually, no, sorry. You don't have to write the question, but when you're doing a bearings question, you just have to draw the diagram kind of large. Do not, like if this is your page here, don't draw the diagram small in the corner there. Make sure this diagram here take up about at least 1/3 or half your page. So do me a favor, I want everyone to take their time and draw this diagram very, very neatly. You do not need to use a protractor. Let's try your best to imitate the diagram in your books there, right? Let me know when you're finished and we'll work it out together. So I just want to show you all that the diagram actually makes sense, right? They gave you the 2.9 kilometers, whatnot. Now, I want you all to read this sentence here. The bearing of the ship, right? The S is supposed to be the ship. From P is 62 degrees. Now, a lot of times when students are doing a question, they don't know where they are standing in the question. Because I was never good at English, right? So in this question, how they tell you the bearing of the ship from P is 62 degrees. To measure the 62 degrees, where are you standing? By the ship or by the letter P? And in case your grammar is bad, right? Like mine's, right? always look for the word from in these questions, and you will always be standing by the letter after the word from, never before. So in this question, you are standing by P. I know it's in the diagram because you're seeing the 62, but you're lucky that the examiner was so nice in this question. A lot of the times they won't put in the 62. You have to figure out where the 62 is. So that means you are standing by P. And that means this is a bearing, right? So that means if you face north and turn 62 degrees clockwise, you will end up facing S. Okay? So that is how you interpret the question. And the other one actually makes sense too. The second sentence, the one underneath says, you're standing from Q. So that means you're standing from Q. You face north, and then you turn 36 degrees in a clockwise direction. Look at here. And if you do that, you will end up facing the direction of the ship. So lucky for you, this question had no tricks in it. In this question, they want you to find the distance QS, right? I already don't care about the three significant figures. We're just going to go to two decimal places, right? Let's keep it simple. Let's put in the common letters. Here's common P, here's common S, and here's common Q. Now, you notice the 36 is inside the triangle. Well, that's easy. Useful, I mean. Is this 62 inside the triangle? I don't think that's 62 inside that triangle. So I have a good feeling that it's not what? Useful. But is it possible in today's question to get this angle here? I'll put it in pink. Is it possible to get this angle? Well, what do you guys think? Is it possible to get that angle? The pink angle. If this is a north-south line, look at it, this perfectly north and this perfectly south. If here is 62, how much is the missing portion there? Send the answer now. How much is the missing portion? Because the last time I checked, if you have a north-south line, like here's north and here's south, from north to south is how much? 180 degrees, right? So now it's not 28, guys. Think about it. Think about it. If from north to south is 180 and this portion is 62, shouldn't it be easy to figure out this portion? Won't it be 180 minus 62? Think about it. Shouldn't it be 180 minus 62? 180 minus 62. Right, and somebody else said it too. A straight line is 180 degrees. So even if you didn't realize this was a perfect north-south line, you should have at least said, hey, this line is a straight line. All straight line. When you spent a whole set of times on angles last week, a straight line is 180 anyway. So 180 minus 62 is 118 degrees. Everyone put in the 118 degrees. So here's what I want to do now. You have so much information on that triangle. How about we just draw what we need for the calculation? I don't care about the angles outside that triangle. To me, that's confusing. So you know what I would do in the exam? I would draw back just the triangle alone, put in my capital letters. I have here as 2.9. I have here as 118. I have here as 36. I have any other things? Right. I'm going to put in my common letters. Common P, common Q, and common S. The examiner wants us to find the distance QS. That means they want us to find common P. This is a non-right angle triangle. You figure out which rule you have to use it, and send the answer on the chat. It seems to me we have two angles and one side, okay? Two angles and one side. If you look at your rules, that's a clear case of the sine rule. Now we have to figure out who is useless. Now, It seems to me they want us to find common P. And so keeping the P's is the most important thing because we want to find common P. And they gave us plenty information on the Q's. Common Q, capital Q. So who useless? The S. They don't even want us to find S. And they ain't giving no information on S. So we're keeping that around for. So I hope this is the formula you all started off with. Common letters go on top. Common P divided by sign capital P is equal to common Q divided by sign capital Q. Now, I remember saying that, I know I keep saying it over and over. When I'm doing my calculations, I'm going to 3 decimal places, and my final answer, I will round it off to 2. Give you a minute to finish it off. Common P is what we want to find. So we have sine capital P, that's 118 degrees. Common Q is, what is common Q? 2.9. And then sine capital Q, 36 degrees. Okay. Yeah, P 2.9. I'm just going to find the sine value. So sine 118 is 0.883 if we go properly to 3 decimal places. And then sine 36, 0.588. Okay, let's cross multiply. So you end up with P multiplied by 0.588 is equal to, multiply the other diagonal, 0.883 multiplied by 2.9. You get 2.561 if you go to 3 decimal places. I hope everyone is seeing things very close to that. You want to solve for common P? Throw across and multiply, you get what? Right? Let's see what we get for common P here. Common P is 2.561 divided by 0.588. All right, for the people who were sending 4 point something, you all have it correct. Right? Right? So 4.3 anything. 3, well, however you round it off, right? I ain't gonna fight too much about it, but 4.3 anything, take it as a win. Look for your mistakes, look for your mistakes. Ah, well, think y'all deserve a little break after that. All right, so your mother has been accused of being a Sakunya. I don't think that village is safe for you.
You run into the woods before the villagers have time to decide if you two have been cursed by your mother's evil ways. You knew what you saw. You know your mother is not a Sukuyant and vow to find the real Sukuyant before she is executed. The forest is cold and filled with ghostly sounds, and every noise makes your heart stop. Suddenly you hear noises in the branches. You look up and see the shadow of a creature about to pounce on you.
This is a creature here that's about to pounce on you. Anybody want to take a guess of who the creature might end up being? Based on Trinidad folklore, so it shouldn't be too hard to figure out who is that person who is jumping down from the trees. Sebastian, correct. All right. I love the guesses. The Dwen, Papa Boa, the Moko Jambi. All right, guys. So do me a favor. Just draw this diagram. Do not draw it small. Make it take up about 1/3 of your page. You don't have to write down the wording for the question. I just need you to draw the diagram so we can do the working on the diagram properly. Let me know when you're finished and ready to start together. So you see that the examiner was nice enough to put in the north line for you. And the purpose of putting in the north line is so it's for 2 things. So you know which direction is north, in the diagram. And also, once you know where is north, it's real easy to figure out where east, west, and south is. So tell me something, right? But not tell me, this should make sense. And I can complete the cross like this. Look at this. So we can understand it a little bit better. So you know, here's east, here's west, and here's what? South. So I want everyone to do that for me, right? The cross, don't draw it too dark. You don't want it. You want to be able to see a clear difference between the actual diagram and the north, east, and west. So everyone very lightly draw in. You see what I drew in green? Draw that light for me. Right? How did I get 140? Now, let me put it like this. Let's use straight lines. Let's say I had a race, and the race was 210 kilometers. And then somebody only ran 70 kilometers. How much more of the race he needs to run in order to complete it? Won't it be 210 minus 70? Look at it. From this north line all the way to the 3 kilometers is 210. And then from the same north line to only the 5 kilometers, which is not the whole race, is only 70. The piece inside the triangle is the remainder of the race. So shouldn't it be 210 minus 70? So I have a feeling the inside portion is 140. So this angle here is 140. Knowing that now, guys, they ask you to find the distance BA. They want you to find this distance here. We have enough information there. Figure out whether you're going to use the sine rule or the cosine rule. Right now, some people have answers already, but I didn't work it out as yet. So good luck, and I await your answer. Now, I didn't put in the common letters, but I hope you guys put in the common letters. So here's common L, here's common B, and here's common A. So you're trying to find common L. So if the version of the cosine rule, because you have two sides and the angle in between, how much of you will use this rule? L squared is equal to, what is L? That's L, I see incorrect. Yeah, I see incorrect. Usually it's B, A, B, and C. L squared is equal to A squared plus B squared minus open brackets 2 by A by B by cosine capital L. How much people have that in full? If you didn't, I'll give you a minute or two, a minute to rectify it, right? All right. So, okay, a lot of people are telling me, yes, they have it. So let me help you out a little bit here. You want to find L. So L squared, so we have the values are A and B. 3 squared plus 5 squared minus open brackets 2 by 3 by 5 by cosine capital L, which is 140 degrees. Now, this one, you can type it in straight on your calculator. So I'll give you a half a minute for those who didn't submit an answer to submit one, please. Okay. 3 squared plus 5 squared minus open brackets 2 by 3 by 5 by cosine 140. Before I square root, I am getting 56.981. And then when I throw across the squared to get a square root, let me see what I'm getting. Second function, that's the 56.981 square root. Oops, 56.981. I'm getting this, and a lot of people, 7.55 to 2 decimal places. Right. Let's go. Right. You all gonna try this question on your own. Let's see if you can get this one correct. Right. Good luck. It doesn't matter if you get it wrong. I just want you to try. Right, that's the well. All right, so let's see if people got the measurements correct. 2 yachts. Okay, so H is for the harbor. So the boats left the harbor. So I guess the starting point was the harbor, H. Yacht A sails on a bearing of 72 degrees 430 kilometers. So I guess they didn't use the word from, but obviously they're leaving the harbor. So how much people got this angle here as 72 degrees? They realize that it's 72 degrees there. So in order to reach point A, you face north and turn 72 degrees clockwise. Okay. For the other one now, right? Yacht B sails on a bearing of 140. So once again, you're standing at the harbor. And from north, you turn until this full pink angle, the whole pink angle is 140 degrees. And of course, this distance is 50 kilometers. And the question is asking you now to find the distance between A and B, right? The distance between A and B. Now, this question real similar to the one we just did, right? Let me see if I only draw the triangle we are interested in, if we could figure out the necessary angles. So we know here's 30 and here's 50. How much is the angle in between? Will you, this blue angle, will anyone able to reason it out? It's almost like the race. The full race is 140 and somebody only runs 72. So the blue is just the balance of the race. I think you had to do some minus in there, right? 140 minus 72, which is 68 degrees. So, and they want us to find the distance AB. If here's capital H, over here's common H. Here's capital A, over here's common A. Capital B, here's common B. We want to find common H. We have two sides and the angle in between. It's the hard cosine rule again. H squared is equal to A squared plus B squared minus open brackets 2 by A by B by cosine capital H. Let's substitute in some values here. Common A, what is common A? That's 50, B is 30, minus 2 by 50 by 30 by cosine 68. This one you can type in straight on the calculator. Let's hope I get it correct here just now. 50 squared plus 30 squared minus open brackets 2 by 50 by 30 by 6. Oops, that's now cosine 68 close brackets. Anybody saw this before they square rooted? 2276.18, 0. And of course, if you throw across a square to get a square root, you're getting roughly, I might be 47.71. Anybody could agree with that? Even if it 47 point anything. I'm not too sure how people got 50, right? Right. I actually know how some people got 50 because I lied about that, right? You have no way you could have gotten 50. I just said the answer was 50 something just to see who would just type 50 something. And a few people did fall for the trick, right? Guys, don't steal my answers, right? Work it out yourself, right? Okay? Work it out yourself. All right, remember something had jumped from the trees.
The forest is cold and filled with ghostly sounds, and every noise makes your heart stop. Suddenly you hear noises in the branches. You look up and see the shadow of a creature about to pounce on you.
Oh, we already had this one, sir.
The creature does not hurt you, in fact it seems to want to help you. It introduces itself as Papa Boys. Papa Boys explains that all creatures of the forest have agreed to leave the humans alone, but lately the succulent has grown hungry for human flesh, and that is why your younger brother was taken. He explains your brother is most likely still alive, as she feasted on someone else a few nights ago in a lonely village in Muraka Valley. Luckily Papa Boys knows someone or something that will help you find the succulent hideout and how to destroy her.
All right, so it seems like you guys have an ally now to help you find the Sucunian. Ah, look at this one now. Not a single diagram. Instead, it's a worded question, and you have to come up with your own diagram. So everyone give it a read, and we're going to do this one together as a team, right? So apparently Debbie is taking part in, I'm not too sure how to pronounce that word, some sort of walk, right? She leaves checkpoint A. So I have a good feeling we're going to be standing at point A to do all our angle measurements, and walks 6.8 kilometers due south to a checkpoint B. So let's do that first, right? Let's just say that we have a north, east, west, and south. North, east, west, and south. Let's call this point here A, the middle of the compass. Apparently, she leaves A and walks due south. So if she's here, she's walking south. And if she walks for 6.8 kilometers, she's going to reach where? Point B. So now she's at point B, the new point. And remember, if you're standing at point B, and you can pull out your compass over here, and here would be what? North. Here would be east, west, and south. So we're standing at point B now. And from point B, so that means, and they use the word from, so we know we're standing at point B for sure, and walks on a bearing of 80 degrees. Do we all agree that if you're standing at B, 80 degrees would be in between north and east? How much of you all agree with that? Because we know north is 0 and east is 90. So 80 has to be in between north and east. But quick question, would it be closer to the north or would it be closer to the east? Well, which one would it be closer to? Right, it has to be closer to the east because not 80 real close to 90, and we know 90 is exactly east. So that means we're going to end up walking this way. And she's going to walk to 4.7 kilometers, which means that this angle here is 80 degrees. And if, well, she walks, we don't know this point here, so we're just going to call it point C. What the question is asking, how far is Debbie from the checkpoint A? In other words, they want the length of this pink line here. Look at it. Isn't this the hard cosine rule? You have the length of two sides and the angle in between the two sides. And they want to find the question mark. Everyone okay with this diagram? You see how we have to build the diagram from scratch, right? Draw my diagram, and I want you to find the question mark. A, C. Answer here. Not working it out. I just want to put in the common letters. If here's capital B, over here is common B, capital A, common A, and of course, common C. So we want to find common B, and we have two sides and the angle in between. So once again, it's a clear case of the hard cosine rule. So B squared is equal to A squared plus C squared minus open brackets 2 by A by C by cosine capital B. right? Anjali, check it back, right? A is how much? 4.7, decimals. They're giving us decimals this time. 6.8 here. 2 by 4.7 by 6.8 by cosine. The angle is 80 degrees. We could type in that straight on the calculator. 4.7 squared plus 6.8. That's not 4.7 squared plus 6.8 squared. I'm getting this. 57.230. I hope you guys have that. And then we throw across the squared to get what? Square root. So if we square root this, we roughly get 7.5. If we go to two decimal places, 0.57, right? If you get 7.56, then you're going to make a big deal out of it. All right. All right. And this is a level that's going to come in the exam for what? For bearings, right? So look for your mistakes.